What's going on, guys? We're back with another episode of the Coast to Coast podcast. We're doing what ifs, which is always a huge discussion in sports. We're always talking about what ifs all over all sports. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it. You guys left some pretty good ones. Honestly, I'm really excited to get into all of these. So we'll just start from the top. Liam, your first one. You said, "What if the CP3 trade to the Lakers went through?" This one's
I,
pretty interesting. I don't think it'd be as OP as people, made it out to be.
I mean, who knows? Does he stay in LA? Like, does he get frustrated with Kobe Bryant? Because I feel like Kobe isn't a guy that, like, he can play off ball with. I mean, Kobe's a guy that dominates with the ball in his hands. It would have been really beneficial when Kobe, I feel like Kobe would have aged better with it. I mean, we might have seen a season or two more out of him. Obviously, rest in peace. But who knows? I mean, does he work with Dwight Howard? I mean, he'd fit that Steve Nash role, but he'd be a way better version of it. I think that trade would have sent, I believe Pau Gasol was in that trade and a couple of other pieces. So they would have lost a lot of depth. But I mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, in all honesty, yeah, they probably did have a good shot to win the West, but who knows? I don't think it would have worked out as well. Like you said, Carson, two ball dominant guys and a guy in Kobe that doesn't really play off ball much.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know. We've
you
seen
go, Jose. You go.
CP play with we've seen CP play with James Harden, and they were a game away and one
Yeah.
injury away from the finals. So Harden, obviously a guy that doesn't really play off ball, and dribbles, takes a lot of shots. So I think they could have been successful, at least to make it to the finals. Who knows if they would have won though.
Yeah, me too. I feel the same way because I think Kobe and Harden are very similar in that aspect. The ball dominant guys. I think Harden probably a much better passer than Kobe as well. But I think their window would have been small because I mean Kobe, only like a couple years later he ended up tearing his Achilles, and I think that was kind of started the decline for him. And I don't really think their championship window would have been like that big because then you get the Spurs, Kawhi's, still developing. He's not Kawhi yet, and then the Spurs get really dominant. So they probably, would have got to a finals or two, and maybe would have won one. But I don't think it would have been like there would have been some like insane great team or a dynasty or anything. But I definitely like for like that 2 to maybe 3 year window, they for sure would have been really solid and definitely competed for a championship. And I think they could have worked together because they're two like competitive ass mofos. Like they would have figured it out. They would like compete against each other, but then at the end of the day, they're like, all right, like we're gonna come together and do business and take care of whoever we gotta take care of. Next one we got. What if Justin Fields never transferred from UGA?
Wow. I think this is a huge one. I mean, it shapes the entire thing of college football. Does, Jake Fromm, assuming he doesn't transfer from Georgia, that means he wins the starting job. What does it make Ohio State? Who becomes Ohio State's quarterback? I mean, they honestly were what?
Joe Burrow? Does Joe Burrow never transfer?
Exactly. That would be interesting. I mean, honestly, Dwayne Haskins had his star season, and then Joe Burrow transferred, assuming that he wasn't going to have that starting spot with Justin Fields coming in. But yeah, I mean, that'd be a huge thing. I mean, does Joe Burrow develop to the quarterback that we all know he is today? And does UGA become a national championship contender with Justin Fields underneath the helm? Because, UGA is known for having such a power running attack. He'd have DeAndre Swift with him in the backfield. But, not really talented receiving wise. I mean, you could say the best guy they've had in the last couple of years is McCole Hardman, and he really isn't, a huge receiving threat. He's more of a guy that can do work after the catch.
Hey, I got to fact check y'all real quick.
Yeah.
Burrow transferred, realizing that Haskins was going to be the starting quarterback. So Fields had no outcome of this. Burrow was going to transfer anyway. He transferred Haskins' year, which was like the year before Fields came in at UGA.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hedge you guys real quick. I don't really think it would have been that big of a deal, honestly. I think the worst case scenario, I mean, because Fromm's like a year or two older, he would have, done his thing, and then Fields would have got like a year or 2 years to just be the star at UGA. And I mean, UGA's always got a ton of talent. I think they could have used, they were a contender with Fromm, and I think Fields is better than Fromm, so they probably would have been even better on, or maybe not even better considering like they would have lost guys like Chubb and whatnot. But I mean, still, I think UGA still would have been like a powerhouse. They would have been like a top 4 team. But I'm glad he went to Ohio State because he was super fun on Ohio State. You guys got anything else on Fields?
I was just gonna ask real quick. Didn't UGA have one of the Ridley brothers, Riley?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
He plays for the Bears now, I think.
Yeah.
With Fields.
What'd you say, Jose?
He plays on the Bears with Justin Fields.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So they're the team in. Yeah, I'm so excited for Fields on the Bears. I hope the Bears like bad quarterback luck does not rub off on Fields. Next one from you, Jose. What if the Dez catch is actually ruled a catch? This one's like a big one too. I think who knows? It could have made the Super. I think. Wait, was this the year that Packers Seahawks? They had like that crazy like onside kick, and then the Seahawks ended up winning it.
I think so.
I think
this was the Malcolm Butler like pick off in the end zone.
Yeah, that season.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Cowboys would have ended up playing the Seahawks. I mean, who knows? Who knows? The Cowboys could have had a Super Bowl run. They could have just lost the next game. Who knows? But
what does it mean for Rodgers?
Yeah,
true. Because that's like, I mean, he's gone to that's probably the next closest season to the Super Bowl he's had. I mean, he's been in a ton of NFC Championship games, but that was the one like they had that game in the bag. Like they had that game secured if they just like
blew it in the fourth
onside kick and they're going to the Super Bowl. So that was his next closest chance. But yeah, I mean, if Rodgers doesn't have that, it's like it makes his resume look like slightly worse.
Does he leave earlier then? That's the question. Does he have like what's going on this offseason? Did that happen last year then? Because when they lose to the 49ers, does he go, man, fuck it. I've lost in the first round. Couldn't get carried by my team, and then so on and so forth. Does his anger start earlier now? And is he on a different team today?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? That's what the what ifs are for. Next one, this is a really good one too. What if the Raiders never got fucked by the tuck rule? I don't really think it changes anything for the Patriots like going forward. They just would have had, one less Super Bowl. But I think the Rams would have probably they probably would have ended up winning against the Raiders. That's what I think.
That was the greatest show on turf, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rams would have ran him anyway, but like for the Raiders, it would have been insane to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because the Raiders, they went. I think they went the next year, and then they played the Bucks, and they got absolutely demolished by the Bucks.
Yeah, by Gruden's Bucks.
Wait, so this was the year that so the Patriots went on in 2000. No, the tuck rule was 2001. The Patriots ended up losing to the Baltimore Ravens that year with Rod Woodson and Ray Lewis, and then they went on to beat the Giants that year. I think that was the Strahan team. Or actually, no, Strahan. That's too forward. Strahan.
Wait, they've never beaten the Giants in the Super Bowl.
The Baltimore Ravens beat the Giants in 2001.
Oh, the Ravens. Oh, okay, the Ravens. Yeah. I thought you meant the Pats beat the Giants.
No.
Yeah. Could the Ravens have beat the Giants that year?
Yeah, the Ravens.
Wait, no, I think it's the
This is Ray Lewis, Ogden, Sharp, and Woodson. That was like their defense. That's like one of the best of all time.
No, that was I swear that was the year before.
It says 2001's the tuck rule game.
Well, like the 2001 season, but then it was played in like 2002. Because then on Wiki, the tuck rule game, it says that they went on to win the Super Bowl. Aftermath. Let's see. Yeah, they went on to beat the Steelers and then the Rams. So I think the Ravens one's the year before.
Oh,
that's what makes it so crazy because like they ended up going to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
it changes perception on Brady. I feel a little bit.
He just would have one less Super Bowl. I don't really think like And we just would have lost like one of the most like controversial moments in like NFL history.
Yeah. Of course, it was surrounding Brady too.
Yeah, Brady would just have 6 right now.
Well, he'd have one less controversial moment.
Yeah, exactly. What if OBJ doesn't make the catch? Then
He's
OBJ would honestly be a
He
bust.
never blows up. He would be a bust.
No. He'd be underrated in my opinion. I think he'd still be good because he still had a record-breaking season. I mean, he
He did have some really good seasons.
No, I think people overrate the hell out of him now. I think he'd be underrated. No one would like. He would be like as well known as like. I can't think like. I feel like Jarvis Landry and him would be about the same level of being known. While OBJ is like up there, people like Julio, people like little kids think that.
Yeah, no,
well, like,
I get what you're saying. Because like I feel like after that, Odell was putting like that like top 5 like stratosphere, but in reality, he's really like anywhere from like 10 to like 20.
Yeah,
Like top receivers. I get that.
Yeah. He had a similar cultural impact on kids as like Steph Curry. Like a bunch of kids would pull up to basketball games and just pull it from deep.
100%.
Kids would just try to one-hand catch everything.
I mean, people still do it
Everything,
today.
bro.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
This next one's a really, really good one because this has like a ton of like a different like chain reactions from Chase hit us with this one. What if AB didn't go crazy?
Does he stay with the Steelers? Because I think that changes a lot.
I think the exact moment
Yeah.
is when Burfict like absolutely laid him out and like gave him some CTE.
Yeah.
That's like the exact moment I feel like.
But let's just say like he stays sane and like this is for normalcy. Like let's say his 2018 stats are the same. He still puts up 1,300 yards on 104 receptions and 15 touchdowns, and then he continues that type of production.
Yeah.
And
The after Steelers probably don't give it to him.
yeah, I mean the next year he played one game for the Patriots, and then he played these couple of games for the Buccaneers this year. But imagine like if he kept putting up those stats and he stayed with the Steelers, because he probably, if he wasn't going crazy, he would have been fine with Big Ben. Like that changes the perception of Juju. Like, do they go out there and they draft Claypool, like Deontay Johnson, all those guys? Like, who else do they go out and get? Because like I feel like if you have Antonio Brown still in like 80% of his prime in that offense, like they're a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah, maybe that 13-0 team wouldn't have been so fraudulent. And also, like, I mean, you're right. Like, he basically missed out on, like, 2 full years. So, like, those 2 years, he was super consistent to be putting up those same numbers. That's just, like, even more, added to his resume of, being up there with, like, one of the greatest receivers. Because he was on that run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's still up there with Julio.
Remember when he got traded to the Bills?
Oh, yeah. You got so
Dude,
pissed.
wait, can we talk about that for a sec? Because he would have gone to the Bills like right as like Josh Allen was getting there. And
It would have been instead of Diggs.
Yeah, instead of Diggs.
But then do they keep their draft pick and did they still get Justin? Do they go get Justin Jefferson then?
Why
Oh.
not?
Well,
Yeah.
they still would like want to have like a wide receiver 2 with him.
Because that could change where Justin Jefferson plays now.
True.
No,
Dude, that would be dirty. I mean, their receiving core is already in fantastic shape, but AB and Jefferson, bro.
But no, you got to look at AB's stats from like his peak when he started putting up great numbers in 2013 to 2018.
Jefferson and him.
Sorry, Jose, you're breaking up. We can't hear you. All right. No, I was saying like AB put up some ridiculous stats, like 1,500 yards a season of 11 touchdowns from his peak season. Like,
yeah, that's true. But I mean, they could both play out wide too. They're so talented. They'll like figure it out.
I will move on to the next one.
Yeah. From Mason, what if Katie never left the Warriors?
I'd say they'd be in the playoffs still, right now.
Yeah. Katie's been in.
He shot 60% from 3 in the series against the Celtics.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, they wouldn't have Clay, but they'd probably still be like a top 4 seed.
They'd be favored out west. But do they have the James Wiseman pick though? They probably don't.
Yeah, probably
No,
not.
but I mean, it's not like Wiseman's really. He hasn't.
Actually,
Really
no. They would because KD was hurt. No. They would because KD was already out of that season. So they would have him this season.
So Katie would just come back healthy, and then
They would have a similar team, probably without like Kelly Oubre, but like
Yeah. Because they traded for Oubre in kind of like a panic because they thought like Clay was coming back, so they wanted like a wing to like pair with them. So yeah, no Oubre.
well, no,
I think
they don't get D'Lo. They don't get D'Lo, so they don't have Wiggins, and they don't have the Timberwolves pick.
Yeah,
So they're in a win,
me, bro.
They're in a win now mode.
Yeah. So it'd be Curry. It'd basically be Curry, KD, and then like all our role guys, which I still think is like a championship contender considering
Well, Draymond
the best
still?
like 5 players. Yeah, with
Still have
Draymond.
Poole?
Yeah, you still got Poole. Poole was still drafted. You still got Pascal. You still got
Pascal.
All
You
those
know, you have Looney. You have she got
Mannion probably still ends up in your hands.
and then who knows? We probably end up signing like a couple, you know, solid
People that
role
want to go
guys.
for a championship. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think if he was still on our team, hey, we'd have JTA too. Can't forget about JTA.
They'd be the favorites out
we'd be in
west.
championship contention right now, bro.
They'd be favored
100%.
out west right now with the situation of the West. 100%.
And he knows that like Clay is coming back next year, so like we would just be able to run it back. I mean,
And
who knows if he'd stay that long, but
so I think the Nets and the Bucks play today. Are the Nets even up in that series, or even did they win the series beforehand? Because without KD, it's injured Harden right now.
well, without KD, they're not even getting Kyrie.
Well, yeah, no, they're not even getting Harden or Kyrie.
Yeah, the Nets would still be like the D'Lo like pissy pamper squad.
So yeah, is like the Rockets. Are the Rockets still have Harden, or does another team like the Sixers jump in and get him?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs there. Yeah, Harden. Hopefully, Harden would have been on the Sixers. I really want to see him on the Sixers.
And I think Kyrie would have gone to South Beach.
That would have been nice.
Makes sense.
They need a guy like that. That's like their little missing piece. I mean, honestly, just another star, really, but like a scoring guard would be crazy. Dude, Kyrie on Miami. Oh my god.
Kyrie's insane right now, bro.
Bro,
They're both insane, bro. Even without, they don't need Harden. Like I'm just still like, I'm just like so baffled that like, not only that they're dominating so much, but that the Bucks just don't look like they're giving a shit at all. It's like pathetic.
they have no chance.
Yeah, it's sad. Because I legitimately think like with their roster they can compete, but
yeah, I don't know.
Like Giannis should be averaging 50.
He should exactly, but he like has been doing pretty good like efficiency wise and stuff. But it's just like it's not enough. And like when your two other best players like are struggling, there's no chance.
I think the Hawks team could beat the Bucks.
I don't think so.
I'm not giving the Bucks much of a chance.
It'd be close though. It'd be close. They'd give him trouble.
I think Drew would shut down Trey. That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
Ben can't do shit this series, so.
Yeah, I think the Bucks, yeah, they would have matched up much better with the Hawks. And then I don't think the Sixers. I think the Sixers it's going to be closer, but I would see it going like 6 max. Nets Sixers. Okay, you guys want to go on the next one?
Go ahead.
What if Drew Bledsoe never got hurt?
That changes a lot.
Damn.
I don't know if Brady gets a chance.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, yeah, Brady might not get a chance. They might end up, trading him, or or we just have to wait a little bit longer to get, Brady in there. Maybe they get a couple less Super Bowls.
Because Bledsoe was solid.
Yeah, Bledsoe was really good. He was like a
Pro Bowler.
He was like an Alex Smith before Alex Smith.
Exactly. Yeah, shit. I don't know.
How old was he when Brady came in?
29 was the year. 2001. He was 29 years old when he got hurt.
So he was still in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Like he had
Yeah.
just had
Yeah.
they had a bad season beforehand, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady might have just got his chance if they just thought that like Bledsoe couldn't be the option for them.
But like,
Yeah.
I don't think Brady's ever beating him in training camp. Like he's never winning that spot from him.
Yeah, because he had been the quarterback in New England since '93.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, but then also like the Patriots, like they could have just had like a mediocre season, and then like they could have just been like, yeah, I think quarterbacks are a lot like coaches, where it's like you're kind of on a short leash. It's like, okay, like couple like losing mediocre seasons, like we might need to like switch it up.
But I don't think Brady goes to another team and becomes who he is. I think that's all Belichick. I mean, as
Yeah.
much as it, I mean, I think Brady's talented, but I don't think he's gonna be like.
Brady's still gonna be good wherever he goes, but he's not gonna be like.
I say he'd be like Eli Manning if he went.
Oh, that's a Hall of Famer, bro.
I know, but like I don't think like
No, he would have been better than Eli, bro.
I don't know. It's hard
Dude,
to.
he just went to another team without Belichick and won. Okay, to be fair,
he
their
had
roster.
He had all the.
But
the
it's
time
not like
underneath
he
him.
did the bare minimum though. He still like got the job done.
I'm just saying because like he'd been coached up to that point. It's like letting him go free. That's what the way I see
get
it.
what you're saying, but you can't discredit Brady like that. He would not be Eli. He'd be better than Eli Manning. But he just wouldn't have been like him and Belichick were like a match made in heaven. We wouldn't have gotten to see like Brady would have got like a Super Bowl or two wherever else he went, and compared to 6.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because the season before, I think in New England, they went 5-11, and then Brady jumped in and went 11-3 when he resumed in at quarterback. So that might have just showed that he was the answer. So because he hasn't had a losing season his entire career.
They would have found out. They would have found out. It just wouldn't. It just might have cost them a Super Bowl or two, just if they decide to play him much later. Because if Bledsoe like held off on Brady playing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. This is a really good one too. What if Paul George never breaks his leg?
I think he becomes a top 5 player in the league.
Me too.
He's got to win an MVP at some point.
Me too. Because dude, he was like on that path, like with Indiana, like before the injury, like he was really like on that. I mean, he was the best player. Like the Pacers were like one of the best teams in the East, and he was like their legit best player. And yeah, I think he's on that path. I think he would have been on like that, like the Tatum, path that he's kind of on right now or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not the craziest what if, because Paul George, even with the injury, is still like a really good player. He's still like a top 20 player. And I was about to say highly respected. He's probably the least respected player. But I think we all know that like he's still really, really good. But I 100% agree with y'all. Like he would have been like a superstar.
He would have been Kawhi.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he came back from injury and was still averaging 23 a game and improved as a player. And I mean, in OKC, he was an MVP candidate for half the season. He was arguably the MVP, which was crazy. To compete against LeBron, like that man really like put the team on his back. And I think that would have been the first ever playoff series I watched as an NBA fan. Like super late into watching basketball, but I remember I'm like, damn, like who is this guy? Like I know who LeBron is, but like
he was going toe to toe.
And he was 23.
Yeah.
I see him as like Kawhi, or like how Tatum's like developing now. Like I would see him like in that superstar status, 100%. Because I feel like that injury, there's always like that slight like fear in like the back of your head that kind of limits you like a little bit, Because because PG, he was like dunking on dudes back then, bro. He was like no fear, like. But now it's like I don't know. He just seems like he'll never like just rise up and really dunk on someone anymore.
Agreed.
I mean, he doesn't really have to.
He doesn't really have to. But still, like back in the days, bro.
Does he still become Pandemic P?
Hey, who knows? That might just be a psychological thing that doesn't date back to the injury. So, but I mean, that's crazy because he was a playoff performer as a young guy. Like he was known. I mean, and like he was still a good playoff performer to begin with, and then he just had those bad last couple of playoff series.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another good. Yeah, if does he end up becoming? Yeah, I don't know if that's linked to the injury or not. Because yeah, I mean, he's like as he's gotten older, he's like gotten worse in the playoffs. I don't know, but this next one, I think this is probably like for our generation, this is like got to be like one of, if not like the biggest what if. The Thunder Big Three Dynasty. Shout out my boy Aiden. He's a bus lover, foshed up. Yeah, the Thunder Big Three. So Harden, Westbrook, KD, all staying together. How do you guys think this is turning out?
Jose?
I mean, went to the finals when they were all like under 24 or something. So who knows once they develop? But I don't think Harden develops into the player he is now if he's still sharing the ball with KD and Russ.
Well, yeah. I mean, but then you also, I feel like the thing that's kind of debunked it in the last like year is we've seen Kyrie, KD, and Harden play together, and Kyrie's just about as as a ball dominant guy as Westbrook is, and Westbrook is better playmaker, you could say, in terms of dishing the ball out. So who knows? I mean, Harden was taking steps. I think he was averaging about 17 a game, sixth man of the year before he got traded. And then literally the season he got traded, he became one of the best players in the NBA. So, like, was he literally just one season away from breaking out? Or was it that OKC trading him was the
He just
reason
got the right role.
that sparked him to become like the player he is?
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I feel like it'd be exactly like what the Nets team is now, but like Kyrie, you replace Kyrie with Westbrook, and Westbrook is more of like Bruce Brown's role on the team, but like on steroids, like on a massive amounts of steroids. Like you see Bruce Brown, he's always filling in the zone gaps, and he's like so great around the rim, and he's also like a great passer once he like gets the ball. He's kind of like he kind of plays like a big man almost. He'll get the ball in the middle of the paint and he'll make decisions, and like he's great around the rim. I think that would be like Westbrook's role, and then also just like beating teams up in transition. I don't know. I would have loved to see, because I think like all three of those guys, like I wouldn't think like you'd have to worry about like them sharing the ball, or like being kind of playing hero ball, because I think they all have so much like respect for like each other's games that they would have. And with Westbrook, it's like Westbrook, would thrive in like, all the spacing that he would get. Cause I mean, they were still really good on those Thunder teams. Those Thunder teams had no spacing. Like, I'm surprised they were just that good because they had so much talent, but their spacing was terrible.
True.
They would have had for sure at least like 2 championships. Too much talent.
I think they would have all wanted to part though at one point. It would just because it would no big threes just stayed together that long.
Yeah, I feel like it was too early. Like if that would have happened like around this time in their careers, or maybe a couple years ago, it would have been better because they all would have had like their moments. But yeah, it just happened too soon.
Someone would have had to take a pay cut.
Yeah, someone would have had to take a pay cut.
But
or just you lose out on like all the solid role guys they had.
Serge would have been gone 100%.
Yeah, Serge.
They never get Oladipo.
They never get a lot of guys. They don't probably end up with Sabonis. They don't get a pick that high in the draft. There's a lot.
Yeah, 100%. But they would have probably got a championship or two. So I think
what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of players that they don't end up with. And then finally, what if Mitch was drafted by an AFC team, and then like also like in that same what if what if the Bears drafted Mahomes or Watson instead of Mitch?
Honestly, hot take. I think Andy Reid could have made Mitch Trubisky into a decent quarterback, like better than what he is now.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of talent to him. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the pick was bad because Deshaun Watson was like a championship quarterback, but like Trubisky's a dual threat quarterback. I mean, he's shown a lot of flashes of potential. I mean, he had like that 6 touchdown game a couple years ago. I mean, really, Chicago's kind of a dumpster fire. So, like, I mean, obviously, he's not going to get a chance because he's playing behind Josh Allen, but like, I don't think he's that bad of a guy. I mean, sure, like, he has a lot of questionable decision making, but like, can that really just be coaching, like coaching him to a certain direction?
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think a
I
lot of the
100%.
questions
Oh, sure,
surrounding
sure.
Trubisky were pretty similar to Mahomes, like decision making and like just polish overall as a playmaker, as a passer, like him stepping up in the pocket. And Mahomes obviously was able to come out and prove that he is able to do all of those things. Obviously, he sat his first year under Alex Smith, and I think Alex Smith could have taught Trubisky a lot of valuable things instead of just kind of tossing Trubisky in there with whatever they had with Matt Nagy, trying to teach him this complicated scheme that he's never learned before. So who knows, man? I mean, if Mahomes is in Trubisky's role, does Mahomes become a bust?
Who knows? Wait,
Mm.
who's the quarterback that they signed? The Bears signed? Is it they gave him like 20 million a year? I can't think of the name. He's
Win.
like, what?
Win.
When they had Trubisky, they drafted Trubisky, but they had a quarterback that they gave like 20 million a year to. I can't think.
Daniel?
No. If I see his name, hold up.
Hold on.
I literally like once you. It's like some guy that like.
Cutler?
No, it was before. It was after Cutler.
Hmm.
Bears roster 2017. Okay, hold up. No, what? Quarterback.
Mike Glennon?
Yes, Glennon. They gave Glennon like a $20 million deal or something ridiculous like that.
Damn, no way. Long neck Glennon?
Yes, that's who it is. Mike Glennon. They gave him a bag, and then they ended up also going with Trubisky.
Jeez. I want to jump off on like the Mahomes or Watson going to the Bears because I completely agree with both you guys' points about Trubisky. I think obviously like the Chiefs would not be as good, but I think he could definitely be a really really solid quarterback because if you want to go to any team as a quarterback, it's going to Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Like that is the number one ideal situation for a quarterback. And I mean, like Trubisky has like shown flat, like you said. I mean that the 2017 year were like the double doink year. He was really good. I mean, he was a freaking Pro Bowler. He was really really solid, dual threat guy. And I think definitely would probably give them a little bit of a higher ceiling than they would with the Alex Smith teams. But with Mahomes or Watson, I mean, who knows? Because that double doink team was really really good. Their defense was fantastic. That defense was super elite. And I think you throw in Watson or Mahomes in that situation, and who knows, it could, end up making a Super Bowl run or even winning it. Because I think that defense was like that. Like they were like a Super Bowl caliber defense. Like the team was legit.
Yeah.
I mean, Deshaun Watson was disgusting as a rookie, if I recall. I mean, he put up actually no, it was his second season after that. But I mean, still like he played half the games and had 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I mean, he was the most polished guy from that class. I mean, Trubisky only played, a season at UNC, which was this huge knock as him as a guy coming out of the draft. I mean, Mahomes is just a gunslinger that the perception was that he never had the accuracy. And then, I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson was, the
Most
leading
proven.
guy, the most proven, led, Clemson to
a
championship. Who'd they play? Bama that year?
Yeah, they played Bama like twice, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Deshaun Watson would make more sense for the Bears than Mahomes. But like with Allen Robinson, finally having a competent QB. I mean, I think Alshon Jeffrey was still there at the time. He had just about to leave. So that changes a lot of things.
Jordan Howard was pretty good back then too.
Oh yeah, how good Jordan Howard was.
Yeah, and Watson, I mean, he proved it last season, like without D-Hop and with like a terrible offense, like he still like led the league in passing. So like he proved that like he doesn't need much. And yeah, I think Watson especially like would have been the Bears savior. He would have been like the Michael Jordan of Chicago football.
Yeah, Chicago football.
Yeah. But yeah, I would. Oh man, that's why like when with all the rumors going on and stuff. I mean, before all his allegations and whatnot, I'm like, if I'm the Bears, it's like, dude, do whatever you have to do to fix this like historically terrible like wrong that happened, like in not getting Watson. Because
Hey,
you're not getting Mahomes, so
Fields has got it. Trust me.
Fields is
Yeah,
now
I
the guy.
still got
He's out. He's out with vengeance.
Which I see a lot. I see a lot of
I
like
really hope.
Watson in Fields. So I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for them, man. Okay, we got any other ones? Yeah, I think that was our last one. We got a troll. Oh yeah, what if Kawhi Leonard comes to Portland? Sorry to your boy Jose. He's not going to Portland.
He's not going to Portland, bro.
He's not going to Portland. That's like a what if Steph Curry, or like what if insert what if Giannis goes to Lakers? It's like not going to the Lakers.
No, that's even more out of pocket. It's like, what if like Steph went to like, I don't even know, like the Phoenix Suns or something, just like total like random. Like they have a guy there already.
Yeah. Yeah, he was telling me that Kawhi's like their missing piece for them to go to the championship. I'm like, bro, how and what are you gonna do to get Kawhi?
He's a free agent though. That's the thing. But they'd have to get rid of
How?
McCollum.
You have no money. Like you have.
Yeah, you gotta dump. You literally have to like release McCollum or something.
Yeah, you'd have to buy out your whole team. You would have to figure out a way to even lure him to fucking Portland. Why would he want to come to Portland? What the fuck is there in Portland?
Yeah, he's been telling us he's been wanting to go to LA this whole time. He's not going to Portland.
PG makes sense. That's about it in a trade.
I could see PG, in a trade.
It'd be like Nurkic and McCollum for like PG and Zubac, and then they give up a ton of picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
I'd actually love to see PG with Dame. I feel like it's two guys that just have huge chips on their shoulder.
And the storyline with the shot.
Yeah.
They get over their beef. They get over and they'd be like, look, man, like it's time. Like our time is like because I mean Dame, like honestly, like for how much like Dame has been incredible in the playoffs, but I mean he's kind of in a similar situation where just like he's lost in the first round for the last 5 years. Like he needs to rewrite his playoff history book as well. So just the fact of not getting so far.
Yeah, I mean I think if a competitor like that comes to your team, you've got to respect like his game, and you've got to just put everything aside and just compete together for the sake of the team.
Yeah, I would actually really like that, man. I think PG would be a really nice fit next to Dame. Improves their defense.
Oh, 100%. And you can put Norman Powell. Maybe Norman Powell would have to be in that trade, but if not, if you could keep him at like the 2, like that's a nasty
nice.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then Covington would be like a small ball 4, or he'd like be coming off the bench or something.
And then you still have like Nazir Little, and you can have Anthony Simons is like Anthony Simons, either Anthony Simons or Norman Powell would have to be thrown in that trade. But like the other guy still could be like the solid third option, whether that be off the bench or starting the lineup.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I like that trade. Because they're probably around the same amount of money, right? PG and CJ.
With Nurkic involved, yeah, definitely.
30 something mil, yeah.
Okay, real quick, I want to address a couple that are in our picture that no one commented. If that's cool with y'all. First one, D Rose not getting injured. No one mentioned that.
Russell West, he's Russell West.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if he becomes like a championship level guy that can like lead a team though. I feel like he gets delegated to the point where they're like, oh, like he's a player that needs a second star. And I feel like, does Jimmy stay then? Because I think him and Jimmy would have been good together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy would have stayed.
In Chicago,
he was there for like that 2015 run they had.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Jimmy ever wanted to leave. Didn't they guard pack kind of like forced him out?
True. Because they didn't have enough around him.
I don't think he would have got a champion. They would have been close. They would have been like the next best team, like them and the Pacers, just because like the Heat, Heat were like an incredible team. But I mean, he would be going down as one of the best point guards. I mean, he was like that dude. But I agree with that. I think for him to like actually get a championship during that run, yeah, you need like Jimmy would have just had to like step up and become Jimmy like a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People forget how good those Bulls teams were in the years of the Heat Big Three, just because like LeBron would beat up on them. But those Bulls teams were damn good.
Dude,
Dang.
Joakim Noah was really good
Boozer.
still. Dang.
Yeah.
Boozer. Gibson, Taj Gibson, and then they had I
They
think
had
they had like
Heinrich.
Rip Hamilton for like
Maybe
a year.
Heinrich was still off the bench.
Oh yeah, Heinrich.
Yeah, they were decent. Yeah.
And then the next one, let's see. Yeah, what if Ray Allen's shot doesn't go in?
Tim Duncan's a top 5 player of all time. Rings wise, that's ridiculous. Because he'd have, is that 6 or is that 5?
6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
6.
crazy. And to be able to,
Man.
because it'd be beating a super team twice.
Yeah. And then I think LeBron has no GOAT case after that.
Yeah, I can see that because
Yeah.
he missed the shot.
Not resume wise. Yeah, that would be trash.
Because no one remembers LeBron missed the shot. LeBron missed the shot. Bosch gets the rebound and gives it to Allen. It's going to be known as Braun missed the shot, not Ray Allen, because Ray Allen's such a good 3-point shooter. If he missed the shot, it's like that doesn't happen a lot, you know?
Yeah. But then LeBron, like the fact that he made that shot, and then LeBron came out and had like a crazy game 7. But yeah, you're right. It would always be remembered, like that image of like LeBron missing that shot and like the Spurs like collecting a rebound. Like, yeah, that would be sad.
Yeah.
The other one that is also tremendously sad, like Len Bias, not passing away. I think, probably gotten the Celtics, another championship or two in the late 80s. Because I mean, this guy was like, supposed to be like the next Michael Jordan. Like this guy was like incredible. He had a beautiful jumper, crazy athletic. A lot of comparisons like MJ. And it's just sad because like, yeah, I mean, Bird, would have had to play a little bit less. You pair because he would have been coming in right at the time with Bird, McHale, Parrish, all still in their primes, because he was the '86 draft. And yeah, dude, they would probably just have another championship or two, honestly, and then he would go on to hopefully become a really great player. But it's just sad because that one, it's like we didn't even get to see him play in the pros. It's just like,
yeah. A 6'8" forward who averaged 23 a game at Maryland on 7 rebounds, 54% from the field. Like you said, it's so sad because he would have gone down as a Celtics great, like taking the reins from Bird, like you were saying, like to go into that era. And then they would have been handing it right off, eventually Pierce, Garnett, and Allen, which I imagine would still happen if things fell into place right. But damn, that is a really sad one because, you said,
that's way down the line though. He probably would have been like retired by that
time.
No,
yeah, but I'm saying like the handoff essentially.
Yeah. Well, he would have like handed it to Pierce, and then Pierce would. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. But yeah, no, it's just sad, bro. Super sad. I know I saw there's like a podcast coming out on like kind of his story and like the what if. So that I'm definitely excited to listen to that. And then the last one, real quick, Malcolm Butler not making not making the interception, and they just hand it to Marshawn Lynch. Russell Wilson would get a lot more cred, I feel like, and obviously one of Brady's championships, getting taken away. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm still sad about this to this day. Like I remember 13-year-old me watching this. I was like a huge Seahawks bandwagon.
Nah, dude, I hated the Seahawks, bro. I was so happy.
Nah, I mean, I also just hated the Patriots.
That's fair.
But I mean,
and Malcolm Butler, like a complete no one at the time, to make that play.
Mm-hmm. I know now he's like a pretty solidified guy, but like you guys, like, have you guys seen like the backstory about it? like how like they were studying that exact play at practice, and he would mess it up, and he's like, no, like it's my time to go out there and do it. And then he just showed out in the Super Bowl and did it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. Like the fact that like he got the play like that matters the most, and he like messed it up in practice. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's so. Yeah, I think we just look back on the Seahawks, like I don't know, just as like a better. I mean, because they would have had, yeah, back to
instead of one, back to back.
was it?
Yeah,
Wait, would have been back to back? Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
back
so.
to back.
Yeah, beating up on the Broncos, and then yeah,
Yeah, so Russ would have two. That's one more. That's one more than a lot of guys. I mean, I feel like not a lot of
Rodgers.
people. Yeah, that's more than Rodgers, more than Breeze. I feel like not. I feel like a lot of people don't really like count his first one as really like his though, which is kind of sad. Because like I mean, Russ was like still a huge part of that team. Like he was like their their main. Him and Marshawn were just like carrying on offense. I mean, but I feel like a lot of people consider that like one of those like defensive teams. Kind of like I mean, you mentioned the Ravens earlier. Like that's a team that like you remember them like for their like Super Bowl winning defense. So yeah, maybe more validity to Russ. I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The world's
More
of what if.
remember the Legion of Boom.
I know.
True.
A higher light.
Yeah, higher life for them. Maybe they stay together a little bit longer. Who knows? But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this one. I mean, there's so many other what ifs, but thank you guys so much for leaving all the comments. We love answering you guys' questions or just talking about whatever y'all gotta say. So yeah, you guys got anything else? Fun episode, man. I love what ifs. You could go on forever with these. That's the whole fun of it. So yeah, without further ado, guys, please, run the views up on this one. Then we'll be back on Sunday with a little Sunday talk for you guys, and then maybe something else. You just have to wait and see. You know what I'm saying? Just gotta wait.
What if?
Yeah. So without further ado, peace.
Peace.